Good morning, everyone. This is the introductory committee meeting of the Energy and Technology Committee, the committee of which, but by the time we're done, we can promise everybody an abundant supply of free energy, because that's what everybody wants us to do, right? I am State Representative Jonathan Steinberg, the House Chair of the Energy and Technology Committee. I will turn it over to my esteemed co-chair, Senator Needleman, in a moment. This is our introductory meeting. It is intended to be very brief. We'll ask each of the members to introduce themselves, maybe talk about what district they represent, maybe even why they want to be on the Energy and Technology Committee. You know, for many legislators, the Energy and Technology Committee was considered a sort of Siberia for those who did something wrong to leadership. I think things are changing. I think that energy is on everyone's minds right now, as it should be. And there are many things this committee will get into this session. We want to be very broad-minded about the subjects that relate to our energy future. But I can assure you we will talk about affordability because it's really critically important to those burdened by energy prices. But we will also talk about a lot of other things, about the supply of energy to meet burgeoning demand and also the importance of energy efficiency. We will talk a lot about infrastructure, upgrading the grid, and also making sure we have a robust transmission network to bring energy from wherever it's generated to the benefit of people here in Connecticut. And we may even talk about those who we entrust to help us get that energy and what their obligations are and how we move forward. So expect, at least in my view, a very stimulating committee process here. I haven't had a chance to look at all the bills that have been submitted. I'm sure there are quite a number, and there will be more before we're done. And we will give every bill such consideration, and hopefully have a number of hearings where we are able to cover virtually all the topics that those people are interested in. So without further ado, I will hand it over to my co-chair, Senator Needleman, and then we will ask each committee member and also our staff to introduce themselves. Good morning, Senator Needleman.
Morning, Representative. I think we missed sort of a very important moment of silence for former President Carter. Can we all just rise and do that a couple of minutes late? I think I have a reputation for being a bit long-winded, and I have no voice because of that. I'm rewarded with damaged vocal cords. The universe has a way of working its own miracles, doesn't it? At the end of this, maybe I won't be able to talk at all, and you'll all be happy. I want to sort of endorse what my good co-chair said. We have a lot of work to do this year. This is a committee that's going to have a lot of attention because it's an issue that's important to everybody's lives. I want to reiterate the idea that we've been talking about for a while, a couple of ideas. One is we need to have a balanced grid. We are always looking at cost to the extent that we can control it in a deregulated market. We're looking at reliability, and I am always focused on environmental goals. That, in my worldview, that's a lot more to do with air quality and some of the things that really affect people's lives directly in the state of Connecticut. We have the general goals that we've set long-term for carbon reduction, but I think in the short run, things that are much more impactful to local communities, like the way power plants were located, really have affected people's lives from a public health point of view. So I want to keep that three-legged stool, our goals. as well as cost and reliability. There's a lot of challenges in the world of electric, generation and distribution right now. Something that even at the time that I got elected to the Senate, AI data centers was not a topic of discussion really, and it has hit sort of national and global news at this point. No one knows what AI is going to do. No one knows what the amount of computing horsepower is going to actually take in terms of electric generation. Everybody's guessing because it's such a new technology, such a new breakthrough in technology that we don't know what the impact is going to be. I read earlier this week that there's going to be $2 trillion worth of investment in AI data centers and AI in the United States in the next 5 to 10 years. And having chaired this committee long enough, all I'm doing is like thinking, how much energy do you need to do $2 trillion worth of data centers? And where are you going to get that from? We know what the outgoing administration nationally felt were the goals. We know what the incoming sort of administration thinks are the goals. The reality is everybody can have their own opinions on this, but our job is to keep the lights on, right? And to keep it affordable. When you flip the switch, nobody wants to not have electricity ever. So that's, I just want to sort of close with no weather event is impactful in terms of climate change. You can't draw the correlation, but the overall collection of data always has me troubled. And I sit here in the beautiful confines of our capital in Hartford, Connecticut, as one of the major cities in America is on fire. And we need to know that. And we need to think about that as we make our decisions. It's not, A to B, but we do have major weather events that are occurring. And my heart goes out to the people of Los Angeles. This has been a tragic 2 days on the heels of other tragic weather-related events. And I don't know when the winds die down. I don't know when the rains come there, but I wouldn't want to be a firefighter fighting that battle today. So with that, I want to thank my co-chair. We have been working. I have spoken with our rankings. This committee has worked in a bipartisan way. I want to thank Representative Buckby for his time as a ranking member. We lost a couple of good, productive members over the last couple of years, Representative Cheeseman and Representative Ferraro. Other members that have been here are not here, and we have a lot of new faces, and it's a heavy lift to learn energy policy, and we are here to help anybody who wants to learn about it. So thank you, and hopefully we'll have a good, productive session.
You heard it. Government is here to help. Everybody relieved? I think Senator Newman makes a very good point. I would encourage all new members of this committee to be patient with themselves and to recognize that this is a committee where you're constantly learning. Just trying to keep up with the ever-changing landscape is a challenge in itself. But we have some tremendous resources here. We as chairs and the rankings will be very much available to you to get more information. Don't be sheepish about asking what you think might be stupid questions, because you're most constructive for us all when you're actually up to speed with what we're talking about. And I struggle to keep up to speed even after 14 years on this committee. So don't be too hard on yourselves for starters. And with that, I'll hand it off to Senator Fazio, our ranking Senate member.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ryan Fazio. I'm in my third term in the state Senate representing Greenwich, Stamford, and New Canaan. This will be the second term I serve as ranking senator on the committee. I'm on this committee for many of the same reasons that everyone else is, because so many of our constituents are hurting under the burden of very high energy prices, the third highest electricity rates in the country, from retirees to young families to small businesses. And I think everyone across the aisle on this committee wants to do something to alleviate that burden and create an electric grid that's sustainable and reliable and more affordable for the future. I very much have enjoyed working with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle on this committee for the last 2 years. We don't always agree on issues, but Senator Needleman and Representative Steinberg are serious and smart people, and they're good to work with. And that's likewise for all the regular members of this committee. And we do have a tall task ahead of us for the next 2 years to forge good policy that can improve affordability of the grid. I think it was rightful that the governor mentioned electricity as the first issue before this state government in his address yesterday. And it'll be for the members of this committee to try to find bipartisan solutions to achieve affordability while also protecting the reliability of the grid and clean air for all of our residents. So, I stand ready, and I know all of the members of this committee on both sides of the aisle stand ready to work in a collaborative and substantive manner in order to achieve those goals. And so I very much look forward to the next 2 years of working with everyone on the committee to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I too want to acknowledge the good work and the collaboration of Representative Buckby for these past 2 years as ranking member. And I'd like to welcome Representative Mara as our new ranking member on the Energy and Technology Committee. I've worked with her in the past, and I'm very confident that we will sustain the kind of collaborative relationship that has been the hallmark of this committee for the past number of years. And I will turn it over to the representative.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Thank you, everyone here. I am very proud to, this is my first time on the Energy and Technology Committee, and I'm very happy to be ranking member here, and also very happy that Representative Buckby is going to be still on the committee and helping out and assisting, as are many from my caucus. So even though I am a new member here to this committee, I have no doubt that there's a lot of support here. My background is pharmacy, so energy and technology is newer to me. But as many of you throughout campaigning probably know, that at least in my neck of the woods, every door that I knocked on, energy was an issue and a discussion that we were having. So I do understand that this is on the residents of Connecticut's mind, and it's on my mind as well. I will be putting my head down and doing the work. So that is what you should know from me, that I will be learning. I will be thoughtful. I won't necessarily be out there with a lot of words and a lot of bluster, but I will be very thoughtful and collaborative. And I think that's how we should move forward. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
Thank you. We can supply all the bluster that the committee needs. I would like to also introduce our vice chairs. I don't see Senator Maroney here or in the Zoom, but I would like to hand it off to our new vice chair on the House side, Representative Sanchez, who is just recovering from health issues. So welcome, Representative Sanchez.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to, first of all, congratulate everyone for coming back home to the Capitol and also swearing in yesterday. I was unable to, just as Chairman Steinberg mentioned, I went through a severe surgery. But happy to be here and proud and honored to be appointed as the chairman for energy. It is my first time being in the Energy and Technology Committee. I do look forward in the challenge, as our colleague Senator Needleman mentioned. We have a long road ahead of us. It's very challenging, so many moving parts. There's a lot to learn, as I've realized now for the last several weeks, and so I'm going to keep this short. Again, I echo all the comments that everyone has made so far. This is a huge challenge. It's a challenge for not only dealing with the EverSource and UI, but also the millstones, and as I learned, the renewable portfolio standard is another issue I've been really up on. So there's quite a bit here to learn, and I think the best move, which I normally do, is just I listen. I try to learn from what I hear. I do my research, and then I approach the issue, and then work with my colleagues. So I'm looking forward to working with every one of you, and also our lobbyists. I think it's important for them to understand where we stand, and this is all about all of our constituents in the state of Connecticut. So that's my priorities, is our state and my hometown, Hartford. So thank you so much, and looking forward to move on with this.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad at least somebody here is looking forward to working with all the lobbyists. I love you all, you know that. Without further ado, I think we might as well just sort of go around the circle, and then we will go to the Zoom members. So brief introductions. We'll start with Representative Brennan.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. I am Representative Raheb Ali Brennan. I represent the 2nd District, my hometown of Bethel and Danbury. This is my 4th term and my 4th term on the committee. My first 2 terms, I served as vice chair under Chairman Arconti, where we helped pass the first utility accountability bill. The policy is dense, but it's important. I look forward to addressing rising costs as well as our transition to more sustainable and renewable energy. Last session, I had the honor of serving on the Select Committee as chairman of the Sustainable and Renewable Energy Committee, where we had oversight over federal dollars coming into the state, helping our agencies organize and figure out how they're going to spend those dollars. This year, I have the honor of being appointed the House Regional Energy Policy Liaison. What the hell does that mean? Basically, the speaker has kind of tasked me with working with the other states in New England to kind of talk about, what are their policy goals, what are ours, where are the gaps in policy that we can kind of work to fix and fill those gaps. We are one grid. It's time we start acting like it. So kind of wanting to help fix and, support our committee here. So looking forward to the work, and nice to meet everyone.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Winter, representing the 94th District, Hamden and New Haven. I'm a newly minted legislator, so it's my first time on the committee. My day job, I work with the city of New Haven as the executive director for climate and sustainability. And prior to that, I helped found a software company that aggregated and cleaned energy system data from federal sources and public utility proceedings, but primarily FERC and EIA. So I'm eager to work with committee members, learn about the specific policies and issues at play for the state of Connecticut, try to meet the goals that the chairs address related to reliability, affordability, air quality, and then the climate crisis. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is George Cabrera. I'm in the 17th District. Very much looking forward to a collaborative and productive session here at the committee process. I won't reiterate what everyone has said before. We've all heard it from our constituents, and I'm hoping to find some common ground and some solutions to the problems that we're facing. Thanks.
Morning, I'm Jason Bucksbaum. I'm from the town of Southbury, representing the 69th House District, which includes Bridgewater, Roxbury, Southbury, and a portion of New Milford. I'm happy to be here with all of you today. This is my first term, so this is my very first committee meeting. Energy is a topic that we've all been talking about over the past year. It's something that concerns our residents. We have numerous challenges and high costs, and I look forward to working with the members of the committee over this term as we look to as we work towards solving some of the challenges we face in this arena. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Representative Andre Bumgardner. Have the privilege of representing our southeastern corner, Groton, Mystic, and Stonington. This is my first foray on the Energy and Technology Committee. This year was also appointed to serve as vice chair of the Environment Committee. So looked forward to identifying a lot of synergies, especially as we consider one of the speaker's priority bills, 5004, with respect to climate action. But we've all heard loud and clear that energy affordability, we've reached a crisis. And I hope in my time on this committee, we can also tell Groton's story. Groton, a community that has had public power for well over a century, this year delivered an 8.5% rate reduction to ratepayers at a time when our investor-owned utilities did not deliver anything close to that rate reduction. So it is my hope to be open-minded, to think about, to ensure that we are prioritizing our ratepayers first when it pertains to energy policy. And as the good senator mentioned, it is absolutely abundantly, it's incredibly important that we also focus on regulating data centers and getting a better sense of what the impact of data centers will be on our grid, something that will be impacting my area of the state as well in southeastern Connecticut, and also align my remarks with a good House Chair on energy affordability and efficiency. And that I'll yield to my good friend from Farmington.
Hey, here we go. All right. So, thank you, Mr. Chair and Mr. Chair. Thank you to my good colleague. So I'm Mike D'Amico, reside in Farmington, represent the 21st House District. I think I surprised the speaker when I asked for yet another term on the Energy Committee. That seemed to amuse him, but I find it, the issues are compelling. Certainly, as was referenced, the learning curve is steep, but it's certainly worthwhile work and important work for the state of Connecticut. So I'm happy to make my contribution. I will just pick up on what a couple of colleagues mentioned. I'm in agreement with Representative Mara. Brevity is certainly preferable to bluster, so I will join you in that. And I would also note, as my good friend Andre just mentioned, there are several of us who are on both energy and environment this year, and there's a reason for that. They are complementary. They one affects the other, and I think it's a good fit to have people on both of those committees. So I would agree with what everyone else said. We want to have an affordable grid. We want to have abundant energy. We want it to be clean, and maybe we'll get there someday, but this is where it all starts. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you. Thank you, Representative. For those who are not familiar with Representative D'Amico, he has an attribute which I hold in high regard, which is he asks the toughest questions of anybody on every committee. So sometimes the dumb questions, but thank you. I appreciate that. You never know what we're going to find out when you ask a question. Before I go to the Republicans, I'd like to welcome Representative Foster, our former vice chair, who now has a committee chairmanship of her own. Welcome, Representative Foster.
Thank you so much, Chair Steinberg. It's an honor to be back in this committee again. Again, I'm Jamie Foster. I represent Ellington, East Windsor, and Vernon. And I will tell you that my goal for the 2025 session is going to be lay communication about energy policy. I think it's time we sort of demystify the content of what we're talking about so that the public can more accurately and appropriately engage with us with their ideas and suggestions. I am not of the mindset that I have all the answers to all the problems that face our state, but I bet we have lots of folks in our communities that we represent who do. And I think that a lot of us benefit from making sure that we are sharing accurate, succinct, and appropriate information with as many people as possible at all moments in time, and that way we can invite and engage the most accurate participation from our public. And I will say that in the past in this committee, I think we have not had as much public engagement as we have had business engagement or industry engagement. And I think that's because there's a lot of mystification in energy policy, and we are probably insulated in a way that causes detriment by allowing it to be too complex for people to engage and making people feel like they're asking silly or wrong questions when they push back on things that don't quite make sense. And I think oftentimes they're right. And if their gut check feels off, we need to allow them to have the chance to explore that. And we need to have more light conversations with the public so we can get accurate information out and really accurate responses to next suggestions. So I'm honored to be on this committee, hoping to stay really engaged and looking forward to serving with all the other members.
Thank you, Representative. And now to our former House Ranking, Representative Buckby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I thought you were going to make me wait a little bit longer to get around to me.
Be arranged.
I figured you would, but you know, I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate all the kind words from the chairs and the rankings. I'm Bill Buckby. I represent the town of New Milford, the 67th district. Those who don't know, New Milford is the best town in the USA. You might hear me say that once or twice. You know, at least I'm easing up on some of the other stuff. That's you were the one talking blustery before, so you know the puns are staying at arm's length at least. But I'd like to first off welcome. There's a lot of freshmen on this committee, and I think that's as we start talking about people learning the concept, be they new to the committee or new to, excuse me, to the legislature. Everyone worries about you know, the learning curve, and it's important to take your time to learn what it is. But I think the other part of it is I love this idea. There's some fresh minds in here to bring new ideas. And I think that's what energy needs in a lot of ways, is some new ideas and new ways to get there. So it might be changing the landscape, or we can call it the grid of the committee, maybe. I don't know, but it's one little one for you. But I think it's really important that especially as was just mentioned, that the newer people especially speak up, say something if you don't know what something is, or with an idea, because you might think your idea has been, you know, said 1,000 times, but it hasn't. And new ideas are going to be critical in going forward, I think, on this committee. I also like to thank those in the room over the last couple of years while I was ranking, who were tremendous help in getting on board. I was one who I come from the energy background. I used to work in energy, and then to come to this side of it is a little bit different. And as the good chair mentioned, we're always learning new things from everyone. So the impact of everyone from OCC and their efforts with this committee to each of the individual groups. I learned more about fuel cell this past couple of years. Thank you. He's looking at me back there. I see him. I see you. I learned A to Z on fuel cell. That's all I'm going to say. But there's so much going on and so much happening. So don't feel overwhelmed by it. Kind of embrace it, take it in. And again, I'd like to thank the good chairs and rankings for the last couple of years. I think Tracy's going to do an amazing job in this role. But I'm here for either side. Really, as the good chair mentioned before, there's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge on this committee. I'm a Representative Piscopo. I think you were on this committee while I was in high school. So there's there's a lot to be learned across the board. That's not a Oh, it's a wonderful thing. I think it's a great thing. And by the way, thanks for matching wardrobe today. I think that there's a lot of people to pull from, and I do miss the input. We're going to have 3 House Republicans we lost from this committee this past year. Holly is a tremendous loss. Charlie's a tremendous loss. And Representative Acker not being on the committee this year. That's 3 people who were incredibly locked into what this is. And I'm sure if anyone from the other side of the aisle were to call them up, they'd be more than happy to have that conversation too. It's kind of a family. I would say this committee kind of puts the fun in dysfunctional family, but it's a fun group of people that have some heavy topics. So hopefully we can do what we can to lower some prices for people. I agree with the good chair on his 3-legged stool that he mentioned earlier before. We've talked about that stool quite a bit here, and I'm going to leave it at that. But we need to make sure those certainly balance. I think balance is going to be the critical piece to moving forward. We've been really out of balance here in the state for quite a while, and it really is necessary. It's beyond necessary. Good representative mentioned that we're at a breaking point and into a severe issue. I think we're beyond that, and I think the people need us to step up, and that's what we're here for. So we need to step up and do our job. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good morning. I'm Savet Constantine. I represent the 42nd District, Wilton, New Canaan, and Ridgefield. Very happy to be on the committee. I'm newly elected, so this is the first time I'm on this committee. It's also my very first committee meeting. Listen, I am actually very happy to be on this committee, especially listening to all the people who've spoken before, because it sounds like we all agree on the main issues that we need to be addressing: affordability for residents, affordability for businesses, supply in order to meet economic growth, and also taking care of the environment, diversifying and making sure that we have options that lead us into the future. So I'm here to listen, learn from you guys, and work together so we can make some progress.
Hello, everyone. Arnold Jensen. I'm from Oxford. I represent the 131st District, which is Oxford, Southbury, and Naugatuck. I am a freshman, so this is also my first committee meeting. So my day job, I was a chemical engineer. So I thought that, energy and technology would be a pretty good match to my technical background. I really look forward to learning as much as I can about the technologies involved here and all these issues that we've been talking about today without repeating them all. So again, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for being here. I really look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you. Good morning. I am Representative Nick Gauthier from the 38th District, representing Waterford and Montville. And I hail from the wonderful town of Millstone, very relevant here. And I'm very supportive of carbon-free, sustainable energy going forward. That we make sure that we're not continuing to emit greenhouse gases into our atmosphere through our energy. As was referenced earlier, we are in the throes of climate change, and we do have to address it as the immediate crisis that it is. So thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm glad to be here.
Hello, everybody. Representative Joe Canino from the great city of Torrington. Very excited to be here. Might consider myself a glutton for punishment asking to be on such a complex committee as a freshman, but like many of you, these are very important issues for our district. I mean, it's no surprise hearing from many of the members of this committee that this was the top issue going door to door in their communities, and I'm just really excited to work across the aisle to make sure that we do something to address the state of affordability in energy in this state. I'm a firm believer of the idea that good ideas find friends, so looking forward to working with all of you.
Good morning, Dave Yacarino, North Haven, 87th District, a great town. This is my 15th year, but my second go around on energy. I requested it this year. The issues we'll be discussing this session, I think we discussed 14 years ago. And one of the issues was expanding natural gas then in more capacity. But we all felt, not we, but many people felt that ship has sailed. We don't need that. And now we're discussing it 15 years later. I think we need to listen to constituents in the market. I study this quite often. Bill Gates has just developed tremendous nuclear pods that we'll be seeing on the market in the next couple of years. But the honest answer is we all love the environment. I'm a huge hiker. I've hiked the Adirondacks many times for many, many years with my boys. And that forest has burnt down a number of times and grown back. But the fact is I do believe there is some form of climate change, but the fact is we need more natural gas and we need more capacity. I think the governor alluded to it yesterday. And we hear it from our constituents in our businesses. Many people have spoke about AI today, data centers. The only way to fuel those is through sustainable, reliable, clean energy, and that's nuclear and natural gas. And solar works about 8 to 12% of the time. Wind works about 30 to 47% of the time if it doesn't break. Those are good. Those are part of the stools. But the honest answer to the people of Connecticut is sustainable, renewable, sustainable energy that's consistent. And that's nuclear and natural gas. That's how I feel. I'm very open and honest. And I think I'm looking to work with everybody and listen to everybody, but I really think we need to start doing something instead of talking about it. I don't think it's that complicated. Thank you.
Good morning, John Piscopo, 76th District, hometown Thomaston. I'm just sworn into my 19th term, and I've been on this committee. I think I lost count how many terms I've served on this committee. I really like this committee, and as complicated as it is, don't feel. I welcome the new members also. Get those fresh ideas, as Representative Buckby says. But as complicated as it is, don't be afraid to ask questions. We have great staff here from our offices on the 5th floor. And I still carry a paper from them that they gave me when I first got on this committee. It's kind of like a cheat sheet, megawatts, kilowatts, and all that, and all the basics. And it's good to carry around with you. So I'll try and find it and make a copy for everybody on this committee also. It really is helpful. I appreciate the Senate chairs and the House chairs and the ranking members of this committee, and many members that have introduced themselves mentioning these two words, reliability and affordability. I think that should be our priorities, and looking forward to working with everyone toward that ends. So thank you very much, and looking forward to another term on this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. We're now going to move to the members of the committee who have been patiently waiting on Zoom. Just to be clear, I understand from the rules that we will still have Zoom components to all of our hearings, but we will be strongly encouraging members to be present when we have votes to vote bills out of committee. But particularly for today, Zoom's a good way to go. So I will do these in order of how I see them on my screen. I will start with Senator Marr. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Chairman. I appreciate it. It's good to see you all. And it's good also to hear what your thoughts are on what the future is for both the Technology and Energy Committee and also for our communities. I very much agree with Representative Yaccarino on the issue of nuclear, perhaps not so much on the gas, but definitely on the nuclear. And I was glad to hear the governor reference it yesterday in his speech. This is my third term on this committee. I serve the 26th district, which is Wilton, Westport, Weston, Reading, Ridgefield, et cetera. It's up on the screen. And I definitely have heard from my constituents all summer about their concerns about their energy bills. And I expect to be able to at least answer their questions, if not give them relief until May. But let's dig in, get to work. And I really, really want us to move forward in a way that makes Connecticut more sustainable, makes it more affordable, and makes sure that we have the energy that we need going forward. And to your point, Senator Needleman, I do think that this issue around all of the energy that's going to be needed for AI is a huge one that we are going to have to address. And it concerns me greatly, given some of the concerns and conversations we had last year on the committee. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Senator. Next up is Representative Horn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I am sorry not to be in the room with you. I apparently, like others, recently had surgery, and so my mobility is a little bit affected, but I do think being in the room for committee meetings is an important thing, and I'm glad we'll have more of that this year. I represent 9 tiny towns in the northwest corner and who care a lot about this. I'm also, as others have mentioned, I also sit on the Environment Committee, and I'm glad to see that there's a strong set of us who serve on both of those committees. As the towns that I represent have definitely felt the effects both of, first of all, I think I note that for the freshmen, introductory meetings are often very quick. And I think the fact that this one has gone on for a while kind of communicates how important this issue is to all of us and why we sit on this committee, and that there are really important issues that our constituents are, you know, really pleading with us to wrestle with in a serious way. And I really value all the constructive comments that so many of my colleagues have made as an introduction. I also want to, you know, thank Senator Needleman for mentioning the fires in Southern California. I have friends who live there, and I have been on the phone with them as they flee their homes, lose their homes in some cases. This is not this is extraordinary, and we ought to take cognizance of that. In addition to the fact that I have small towns whose, you know, mill rates are going up because they have to pay for the loss of infrastructure that's caused by severe climate events. So I think we really have a lot of important work ahead of us, and I really enjoy this very constructive committee and a lot of smart, engaged people working on the issue. So thank you.
Thank you, Representative. I just want to assure the new members that membership in this committee does not typically lead to surgery, but even though we've had it. Next up is the Dean of the House Democrats, our own Representative Mashinsky. Welcome.
Hey, I'm so glad to be back, Mr. Chairman. I love this committee to death. I will be focusing, I come from Wallingford, which is the 85th district, and we have our own public power here. We have the cheapest electric in the state of Connecticut, so it's a great thing to live here. However, I know everyone is suffering, even here in Wallingford, from higher rates. And I'm also aware from going to other energy meetings regionally that we are not using energy efficiency to the level that other states are using it. There's other states in our region that are probably 3 or 4 times greater at using efficiency technology to lower electric bills for their constituents. We are behind the region, considerably behind the region. So I hope, if nothing else, we make use of our federal grant that we got in July, 100 million for energy efficiency technology in Connecticut, and the 25 million that we put in the bond package last year, and that we get that dispersed to help people lower their bills, and also to reduce greenhouse gases that are causing the problems, such as the fires in Los Angeles. So we can do better in Connecticut. Other states are doing better than we are, and it will both lower prices and also clean the air. So I'm very much looking forward to working on those issues, and glad to be back.
Thank you, Representative. And I certainly take your point that we should talk a lot about energy efficiency. If we're really serious about relieving the burden on citizens of Connecticut, we probably need to invest more in energy efficiency so everybody benefits. Next up is Representative Hughes.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I'm Ann Hughes from the 135th District, East and West. I'm Reading, fourth term, but my first time on energy and technology. I also serve on the Commission for Offshore Wind and have been attending and participating along with many of my colleagues here in some of the energy summits, even energy security summits, national security summits. So it's a huge topic, and so it's time to do the deep dive for me as well to add to the fray. And I'm just excited to be here and working on all these issues, as complex as they are. We are ready. Let's go.
Let's go. And last but not least, my good friend, Representative Greshko.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize for not being there in person, but some of us work. So we're taking some time off to attend the meeting from our day jobs. I've been on energy for the last 9 years since I've been elected to the 121st District out of Stratford. I would like to align my comments with Representative Mashinsky as far as energy efficiencies go. How about paying back the ratepayers that we raided $150 million from a few years ago to pass the budget? I think we have a little bit of a surplus now. How about paying our bridge loan back? Did I say that? Also, I've got another word. It's called biodiesel. We're blending biodiesel and home heating oil now. We're lowering greenhouse gas emissions now. I think it's the next step to go and expand that to renewable diesel and a next step for biodiesel. Thank you. I will conclude, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Greshko. And before we let you all go on to whatever else you have planned today, I would like to take a moment to introduce our staff, which are incredibly hardworking and really make us look good. Starting with our clerk, Abby Lockwood.
Hi, everyone. I'm Abigail Lockwood. This is my second session here, and I'm the Clerk of Energy and Technology. Reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm the primary point of contact before I can direct you to one of our legislators, but I'm looking forward to the session.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kira Smith. I'm the clerk for the Energy and Technology Committee and the clerk for the Special Education Committee. If you need any help with anything, please reach out.
Why don't we go over to the other side here?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Jonathan Porzik from the Legislative Commissioner's Office. This is my first session with this committee. I look forward to working with all of you, and I'm looking forward to a productive session.
Hello, Mary Fitzpatrick, Office of Legislative Research. This is my 10th year covering energy.
Hi, and I'm Jess Schaefer-Helmecki, first on ENT, 8th session with the legislature, and looking forward to working for all of you.
Have I missed anyone? Thank you for the offer, Representative Buckby. So this is the team this year, and we're going to be working pretty hard, and we're going to have a number of hearings that will probably go for some hours because we're going to cover a lot of ground. And now's the time that I'm to announce the schedule of our next meeting. And the answer is, I don't know yet. We are a B committee. We have tight deadlines. We will get that information to all committee members very shortly. We will be agreeing on a calendar. So we have ample opportunity to do our hearings. There will also likely be one or more informational forums. We're already talking about doing a combined informational presentation on waste management issues, and there may be some others we do for the benefit of freshman legislators to get them up to speed. And we'll be making you aware of that in the coming days. So assuming that there's no other business for today's meeting, I want to thank you all for your participation in advance, including all those in the audience who have a lot to share with us. And we will look forward to seeing you at the next meeting, unless my
Motion to adjourn.
co-chair has anything else to say.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.